Chris McNally made a suggestion a few weeks ago that he would disagree with Rosemary and Lee over a choice, and this must be a part of it. No one trusted Monte when he attempted to take their land and water in Season 10, notably Bill, who had been duped by Monte into taking his land and tricking Madeline and Jamie. Bill and Rosemary have spent a great deal of time attempting to shield Lucas from Monte, whose they believe attempted to kill him, so things are sure to get complicated. Lucas's decision to bring Monte to Hope Valley will be perceived by his friends as a betrayal, unless they are hoping to get some information from him. Lucas's character has been redesigned by the new writers to solely concentrate on improving Hope Valley. Lucas had always been a town improvement man, but he also respected the advice of his friends, particularly Henry's and Lee's experience. If he doesn't fire Edwin as his campaign manager and starts owning up to his blunders, he might lose a few friends. Lucas never even inquired as to whether anyone desired a resort. Is it worth working with someone like Monte, who will stab them in the back, even though the employment market might improve? They'd have to wait for the ideal chance or gather the necessary funds. Rosemary is a journalist, thus her opinions are quite important. Hope Valley was split when Monte returned to make a bid on the resort in When Calls the Heart, Season 11, Episode 9, and Rosemary wrote an article about it in spite of Lucas's advice not to. It's difficult to trust someone who has burned you once. Lucas was anxious that Monte was visiting Hope Valley, despite the fact that he had reached out to him first. He was aware that he wouldn't be warmly received, especially because Bill and Rosemary were among the first to see him. If they were talking about money, Monte insisted they get together in person. Henry warned that this would blow up in their faces, but they reluctantly came to an agreement. Silence was not going to be as easy as Lucas had imagined. Given that they were certain Monte had shot Lucas and had gone to great lengths to establish his guilt, Bill and Rosemary were right to seek an explanation. Lucas pleaded with them to stay silent about Monte's proposal and have faith in him because he was equally certain that he was innocent. This is where things got tricky. Rosemary felt that people had a right to know the truth, even though she wanted to support Lucas. Hope Valley's future should be decided by the people. As mayor, Lee faced additional challenges because he had to pay attention to everyone. There had been no other bids, so Lucas felt deceived that Rosemary composed the piece. He fears Monte might withdraw his proposal at this point because more people are losing their jobs. It's not Monte who doesn't want Lucas to succeed. Clayton Pike was correct. There are eyes everywhere, and when the resort approached Monte, they launched their attack. Lucas attempted to place the blame for Monte's presence on Rosemary, particularly after he withdrew his bid. The puzzle remains unsolved. I thought Lily would stay in Hope Valley forever because she has become such a fixture in the community. Faith is entertaining to watch as she navigates food fights with Lily. Only parents of young kids understand those. Poor Faith. She wanted to be happy that Mrs. Watson had healed but was devastated about losing Lily. Joseph encouraged Faith by encouraging her to plan a special day that Lily would never forget. Lily is so young and innocent. While she misses her grandmother, she's more worried that her grandmother misses her. She knows she's well taken care of. By treating her to a spa day and taking time off work to play with her at the playground, Faith made her the most wonderful day possible. Lily wished she could do it with Grandma once more. I hope Lily's granny approves of Faith continuing to be a part of their lives. It's someone else who adores Lily, like Joseph said. Being a teenager is never easy, but when you start to doubt who you are, it gets worse. With Allie, that is what transpired. She heard Nathan disparaging Dylan to Faith, and her grandma sent her family's pictures but left Dylan out. Her curiosity was piqued, but all she got was the standard response about her birth father's frequent travels. Excuses didn't fly as readily now that Allie was older and more anxious to find out her origins. I could identify with Allie's dilemma of wanting to learn more about her birth father, because I was adopted as a baby and she had no memory of her mother. The fundamental issue was that Dylan Parks was seen by everyone as a tender man who needed more time alone and was so overwhelmed by her mother's grief that he was unable to care for a small child. They made him sound sensitive and romanticized it. That may have been the case at first, but before Nathan formally adopted Allie, back in When Calls the Heart Season 8 Episode 1, Dylan was a crook who demanded money from Nathan. Allie persisted in pressuring Nathan to withhold the truth from her in an effort to protect her, even going so far as to call him Uncle Nathan once more. Since Nathan has been Allie's only true father, that was a cruel statement. Allie purposefully misconstrued Elizabeth's support in an attempt to pit her against Nathan. Elizabeth won't question Nathan's choice, even though she may see that Allie is growing up. Allie is still desperate to find Dylan and show that he has changed, just like Grandpa Archie did, even after Nathan informs her that he is incarcerated. Nathan and Elizabeth will have their work cut out for them because Allie is a skilled con artist. When Jack expressed a desire to begin writing Sargent, Elizabeth noticed that he was maturing at the same time that Nathan and Allie were going through more serious growing pains. When Calls the Heart Season 6 Episode 3 showed us how important it was for baby Jack to meet Sargent 5 years ago, so it seems like the perfect time for him to begin riding his father's horse. Elizabeth found it hard to believe her small boy was growing up, as is only natural, but it was much harder for her to say no when Bill got Jack a pony. A godfather has the right to spoil their offspring, and Jack fit the bill for Sargent. We were all moved to tears by how much he resembled his father. These nostalgic scenes, which form the core of the series, are what we need more of. With just 3 episodes remaining, will the murder mystery and resort tale come to an end soon, or will they continue now that When Calls the Heart has been extended for a 12th season?